And chances are, unless you're an extreme feminist with coal in your vagina, you probably do too. But did you know that porn stars are not very attractive? It's true. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a look at some porn stars with and without makeup. With makeup, she makes my penis happy. Without makeup, she makes my penis angry. Why does your face look like that without makeup on? With makeup? Oh, hell yeah. Without makeup? Oh, hell no. With makeup? Sexy beast. Without makeup? Beast. With makeup? Hard on. Without makeup? Hard off. With makeup? Yes, please. Without makeup? No, thank you. With makeup? Yes. Without makeup? Why? Logic.
Let's get started, ready, steady, go!
Just a
Do you think James is eventually gonna have to start advertising Rogaine because he's going bald?
Oh yeah, he advertised some shitty.
He's gonna have to shave his head like the
He's
next
gonna have to
already.
show forhims.com.
He advertised some like shitty fucking
Hair loss
mobile-
is now
mobile-
optional.
No, he advertised some shitty
Hair
fucking
loss.
sniper elite game.
Yeah.
Plus, we also
It's
got
like-
pills for your penis.
They slapped him with his penis.
Okay, we should.
What's up, sissy boys? Fucking Lance Corporal Thomas here.
Guys, StevoAwesome here.
AIDS Dank here, the last liberal.
Animancer here, but no one's gonna call me that. So
Yeah, also known as the Fancy Badger. Also
wow,
The drunken
known
Dog.
as
Doxed.
you just put my real name in the front of the title. Fuck you. Did you? Anyway,
You want-
Big shot podcaster, dude. He gets 1,000 views a video on his podcast.
yeah, dude, I'm huge. I'm huge. I'm the hugest person here, but I'm still in the shadow of Drunken Recap. So
Yeah, Drunken Recap got more views than you did. So think
Yeah,
about-
dude.
How does that make you?
Well, that's why I'm here. We've got to live up to Drunken Recap. That's the first thing we need to do on this show.
Drunken
Right.
Recap Part 2.
Yeah, we need to
Oh,
escape Drunken Recap shadow, except this time Eggs is going to have a ball gag on, so that way we can keep him under control.
Yeah.
No.
Are we gonna fucking discuss the entertainment we've watched recently? Or Tame and I've indulged in recently. I haven't played any shitty shovelware games lately. That's kind of my thing. But I read I guess books count as media. I read the a Hunter S. Thompson book. It just it was interesting. It was kind of like it was kind of a comedic thing. It was during the campaign trail of '92 with fucking and Bill Clinton, and currently I'm reading President Xi Jinping's book,
Boo.
The Governance.
Boo! Low energy. You shouldn't read that shit. Fuck.
I'll keep the contents of the book at a. I won't talk much about that, but it's certainly interesting.
Books are gay.
Yeah, they're for like.
I've been reading
black
comic books. Been reading some Hellblazer and some Saga of the Swamp Thing. They're really
You,
fucking
re-
good.
No,
You
they're
need to read
not.
some
Yes,
comics.
they are.
Those
Fuck you.
Those old.
You need to
Alan
read some
Moore-
comics penned by Ethan Van Sciver because he's
Those,
worth
those old Swamp Thing Alan Moore comics from the '90s are really interesting. Like, just go look at the covers of those. They look like fucking
They look like fucking real art.
metal album covers. Like
They'd
old
never do that today.
metal album covers. It looks really cool.
They'd never do that today.
Okay, I still am playing Hearts of Iron 4. Not much has changed. It's all the same.
Still been watching Douglas Walker.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
God, why do you fucking watch him if you hate him so much?
No, I love Doug. I love Doug Walker, but I hate him at the same time.
So you have like a hate boner for him?
No, it's a love-hate relationship with Doug Walker. You know,
I see.
something about him. It just interests me about how he thinks he's such an artiste. You know?
Yeah, he really is a character. Like, whatever you think about him, you can't deny the fact that he's a fucking character. He's got a lot of personality, for better or worse. Like, he's the only person who gets, like, a respected, I guess, a respected voice actor from a show that a lot of people like, and decides to put them in a cringy CGI cutscene instead of, like, doing an interview with them or asking them some questions, or having them be more involved in the review in maybe more of an interesting way.
Okay, well, we need to save Doug Walker for later. We're going to have a Doug Walker special
Oh,
episode
really?
becoming very
Dude, we'll be able to talk about that for hours.
Don't
Okay.
have fucking Luis on for that one because that's
Yeah.
on.
Well, for the Channel Awesome thing, we're gonna watch Taboli Flea as the movie review.
No.
Yes.
No.
Fuck you are watching
Yeah,
it.
I'll do it.
I'm not watching 3 hours of Doug Walker.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on from Douglas Walker.
I've mostly just been watching shit on YouTube lately. I haven't really gotten down to watch any new series or anything.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'll-
It's the same thing as last time. I say something and then I forget what I forget a lot of shit. So then I'm like, oh wait a minute.
Oh yeah, maybe you are a Spur.
Mario Brothers the Second.
Oh yeah. I watched you play that.
Yeah, because it was on the Nintendo Soy Machine Online, and
Yeah, which their online service is fucking garbage because they haven't released SNES games yet or GameCube games.
but they will.
No, they won't.
If they release GameCube games, I might actually buy a soy machine.
Dude, the soy machine.
Oh, that's definitely not coming on the online.
For those uninformed, the soy machine refers to the Nintendo Switch here on the show.
So that's pretty much it. I think we should move on to news. So, Lance, got any news stories for us to give our hot take on?
Social commentary.
Social commentary.
Marvel and Hulu are teaming up to make animated series.
They're going to be bad.
One of them will be Howard the Duck, and it's going to be stewarded by Kevin Smith.
So Hulu is also owned by Disney, right?
Well, it's
I'm not
owned by
mistaken.
Fox, and they're going to get it in this deal they're
Oh,
closing.
that's right.
Really? Jesus
I-
fucking Christ.
I've seen some people talk about how the Disney what is it their new streaming service Disney Plus or
Plus.
something that's going to be for more family friendly or like kid stuff.
Yeah,
That
it's going
type
to
of
be
shit.
like Disney movies, and all their other shit's going to be on fucking Hulu.
Yeah, well, yeah, the more mature shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Is going to be on Hulu, which is kind of an interesting way of doing it. It's funny because now, like, Disney is just so huge that they're able to be like, we can pump out 2 fucking streaming services and no one will complain because we have enough fucking content to fill them both out. And I mean, I don't know, it kind of serves its purpose, but there's still going to be people like Butch Hartman who are like, oh my god, these streaming services are infested by adult content.
For those who don't know who Butch Hartman is, he's this guy who created like 2 shows that people like and then like 3 shows that people hate.
And
He
people
has a very
hated
big
one of
ego.
those shows once it got older.
What?
Yeah.
Fairly
Yeah,
Odd-
yeah,
Yeah,
Fairly
Fairly
Odd
Odd Parents. People hated that.
Have you guys seen
after it
any
went on.
clips from the last episodes where they were using Flash? It looks so bad. It doesn't even.
Family Odd Parents?
Yeah, they were
Flash?
using Flash during the.
Let's play some clips from Fairly
I
Odd.
don't get Viacom. The Viacom.
Yeah,
logo.
Viacom-
Viacom
Viacom's
will fuck our
terrible.
asses.
Most other companies are not so bad about it, but Viacom's the worst, so I wouldn't
always
chance it
been
with them.
shit.
But yeah, the audience or the people here right now, you guys can look at it later. The last episodes of Fairly Odd Parents had Flash animation. It looked terrible. It looked like Johnny Test type.
I'm gonna look it up by myself. I want to see.
All right, yeah, go take a look. You can react to it in real time. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, The Fairly Odd Parents was, like, one of the only shows on Nickelodeon for a while that was kind of giving this fucking sponge a run for its money. It was always, like, the second banana to that show. And now, like, SpongeBob, at least, because it's, like, Nickelodeon is still pushing it as mascot, like, they're trying to make it better. But Fairly Odd Parents just got worse and worse until it died. And no one cared about it. It didn't even get a proper season finale. That's just kind of fucking sad to see a show that was pretty fucking good at one point get so much disrespect.
Yeah, we watched some of the early episodes thinking like, man, we were just dumbass kids. This is going to suck. But then we watched it and we were like, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty damn.
I wasn't there to watch it with you guys, but it's probably shit considering it's a fucking kids show.
Well,
Well,
Steve has a
true.
cynical asshole.
You like Teen
so-
Titans, Steve-a.
I like it. I like some of the episodes, but for the most part, I watch Teen Titans just because, like, out of nostalgia. I don't really.
Well,
Not really.
that's the same way we watched Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
But I can recognize Teen Titans for the most part as a terrible show. I mean,
I'm not saying that if these shows came out today that I would go out and watch them necessarily. Like I'm sure that they would be good shows for kids still these days. But
Yeah, we only watched it because we're nostalgic for it. Same way
Yeah, and
you
it-
watch Teen Titans.
The same way I watched The Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey,
I
dude,
mean-
you name dropped Nostalgia Critic like fucking 4 times last.
Oh my
episode.
god,
Nostalgia Critic, Nostalgia Critic, Nostalgia Critic, Nostalgia Critic.
man! If it
Doug
wasn't
Walker,
so
Doug
much
Walker.
effort, I'd be like, we need a nostalgia critic count here. But maybe I'll just tally it up by the end of
We'll get Mr. Giggles to do it. We'll make a wiki.
Oh my god! No! We're not talking about that. We're not talking about it.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, what's next on the agenda? Huh?
No. We haven't even talked about those cartoons. The Disney cartoons. That's what we were talking about. They're making like Marvel.
the Hulu
Marvel.
cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my thoughts is they're going to be bad because every single Marvel cartoon that comes out today I've heard is pretty bad. So
Back when I watched cartoons, I thought the fucking new Spider-Man show was okay.
Here's my opinion. This is going to be a problem for a very long time, maybe even for like another decade or two. But no superhero franchise that's like a cross universe is ever going to work, including the Marvel animated ones. And here's why: because every single one of them will always just be trying to be the MCU and replicate that success instead of doing what the MCU was doing originally and trying to do something new and different. And that's a huge problem with fucking Hollywood these days. Is everyone's just trying to follow what other people are doing to make success and not do something different.
well, that's whatever they've been doing for like the past 70 years anyway. So
I mean, yeah, but people, there's a lot of times where people are rewarded for going out and taking a risk. So you would think that people would get used to it. That's worth it by now.
all the other shit that's failed that nobody hears about because there's a reason for that.
I mean, that's true, but if you're like a $1 billion company, you can afford to take some risks. If you're getting net profits year by year, like I can see for some companies that don't have that, they have to work a bit more narrowly with what they have. I understand that.
See, the thing is though, like they're not going to take a risk because they know even if they don't, people are still going to pay for whatever they're putting out. Like they're still going to make money, so they might as well just not take a risk and make money pumping out the same shit.
I mean, mediocrity is only rewarded for so long. The audience will get tired of it.
The audience hasn't been tired of Disney's mediocrity for the fucking past 50 years. So I mean,
no more of these fucking cartoons. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, fuck cartoons.
Yeah, they're
Cartoons
bad
are for kids. Steve-O's waifu said it best. Clowns are for kids. You're too old for clowns.
You just fucking quoted Teen Titans Go.
I haven't even seen that fucking episode. I just saw Mr. Entersberg out.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Don't get egg started on Mr. Ender. Oh my god.
Yeah, let's move on before we get into Mr. Enter. Let's start out with Green Goblin versus Green Goblin.
Oh my god, no. Alright, so I was the first one to find this fucking atrocity. And I tortured everyone here with it, and now I have to torture you, the audience, with this.
Yeah, so this is a sneak preview for the movie we'll talk about tonight.
Oh boy.
Queers.
We can skip to the
There have been 3
stupid
different
moment.
actors who donned the iconic role of the Green Goblin on the.
Fuck this. I don't want to see William the Foe. This is the worst social commentary on social commentary in human history.
I'm not going to waste
Watch
any time
this.
here as it's very clear who wins here. Franco's incarnation is just way too quick for DeHaan's. I'm not even sure if the writers were aware of what they were doing, to be honest. I mean, look, they actually did this cheesy turnaround then smile villain maneuver and he just up and disappears.
I've never seen anyone
We know
take
that
the
he
Sam
couldn't have
Raimi movies so
teleported somewhere, it's just
seriously.
not part
Yeah.
I
of his
mean,
power set. And plus this guy turns around like
they're just
"You
cheesy
so
comic book movies.
Well, let's shut up first.
It's not his power set, but moving super fast is.
This guy basically makes the argument here that it's not in this this guy doesn't teleport, so he must have super speed if he's moving this fast. It's like, well, what would lead you to believe that he would even have super speed? He could just as easily be teleporting around, or maybe it's just a movie and it's a cliche. Have you ever thought about that for 1 second? Why are you taking this seriously? These fucking versus videos, they don't mean jack shit. They don't mean anything. It's just a bunch of people trying to inflate out 10 minutes of bloviating about why one character is better than the other to try and get that juicy ad revenue.
And he has spider sense, so he would have known if Harry was still in the coffee shop hiding beneath the window. Which means that this Harry Osborn can not only run super fast, but can also do it silently. Even though we already know who is faster between the 2 Osborns, let's just do some useless math for fun with useless information that probably never help you in this dark, cold planet we call Earth. So the setting of this scene takes place in
game theory
on Jane Street of New York.
Yeah,
And
he does an
according to
actual game
LifeScience.com,
theory.
Because of Earth's curvature,
He starts
human
measuring
eye
like
can only
Earth's
visually perceive
curvature
objects
and
or
how
humans
long
up
it
to
takes
3.1
someone to
miles
travel a
away.
mile
We
and
didn't see
how
Harry
many
move at all
kilometers.
before the truck obstructed our view of him. So that must mean the time he had to escape Peter's line of sight
Like,
was
he
equal to
said
the time
earlier,
the truck
like,
spent covering
he
our
couldn't
view of
just
him.
teleport
Well,
it,
that
'cause
truck
that's
only
not part of his
obstructed
power,
Parker's
but then
view
he's
for
gonna try
about
to
a
make the
second.
argument that
So
That's super
3.1
speed,
miles is
exactly.
literally 1 second.
He
It's
can move like the Flash.
11,150 miles
What?
per hour. That's
No, he
more
says
than
he can
14
move 3
the
times
speed of
faster than
sound.
Quicksilver
Yeah, that's right.
later
Take
in this
that,
video.
Quicksilver. This guy
I
is more
hear
than
it right
3
now.
times faster than you.
See?
Well, not you, but you. But wait a sec. Only being able
Okay, so that they're
to
different
perceive things
speeds.
up to 3.1
Whatever. I don't give a
miles
shit.
is just for average human
Anything
being.
after this
We're
is
talking about Spiderman.
kind of whatever.
And his senses are like dialed up to
I can't believe this. This shows the degenerate scumfuck of YouTube. Like this guy is just creatively bankrupt. He doesn't have anything to say of value or produce, so he's just like Captain America versus Captain America.
He knows that. He just knows that a bunch of idiots will watch it. These characters are iconic enough, so he can just put them in anything and people will watch them.
Okay, so this guy is called JeffRacoon.
I just want to before we watch it and make fun of his terrible video, I just want to say, I get kind of like Weird Paul, where it's like, dude, I'm not trying to like dissuade you from making videos. He made another video where it's like, he's just an old guy. He wants to put his opinions out there on the internet before he dies. It kind of sounds like he's had a stroke. I don't know if he actually has or not. He talks kind of weird, but you do you. I'm not trying to. I just think I disagree with you, and I think your video is really stupid, and that the point you're trying to make is pretty dumb. But
You're a poopy head, your buddy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your old pal JeffRacoon, aka JeffRacoon47, once again coming to you on YouTube and Facebook land. I wanted to talk to you about a little term I've invented. You know, you're probably all familiar with Andrew Sullivan's
So
term.
what's this have to do with the
South
thick
Park
rabbit?
Republican. Well,
keep watching.
I'm a very unique kind of conservative, you know, and I had to come up with a term for the type of conservative I am.
Trademark,
First
dude.
off, I'm not a big fan of country music or race or sports or some type of entertainment.
Wow, the
some of
cogs
the
in this
type
guy's
of more-
mind move so slowly, dude.
What the fuck am
they're
I
not
doing
really
with my
traditional,
life?
He's just going 1 second at a time,
conservatives as they
man.
are depicted.
He doesn't like country music
the
and he doesn't
news
like race
media
cars, so he's
are.
not that type of conservative.
But I like science fiction movies.
like
I like
science fiction
animation.
movies.
I like some more.
I like Queen.
I like a lot of stuff that the conservatives, that the media.
I bet this guy
puts
probably thinks
across
he's
as
secretly
conservative.
StevoAwesome.
Like I said, Andrew Sullivan came up with the term South Park Republican, which meant
South Park Republican.
someone who
Actual
was kind of
phrase, but
rude.
it's just referring to people like who get their
forward with his
Or
mind.
Matt Stone and
Well,
Trey Parker.
referring to people who get their
I'm kind of that
libertarian
way
beliefs
too,
from
but I
South
mean,
Park.
I don't like the things that.
Like this guy's saying
The
because he likes
normal
animation and
associated
science fiction
conservatives.
films that he's a
Well, I
Zootopia
came up with a
conservative.
very
I'll
good
speed it
term
up
for
because he
this.
talks so
Oh, look
fucking
at him. He
decided
actually has
to call the type of
enthusiasm for
conser-
once in his life.
he talks so fucking slow. Like you gotta speed this shit up. But like so he likes animated movies and he likes science fiction. So he's not one of those regular conservatives. He's a Zootopia conservative.
That's fucking weird.
What's that have to do with the thick rabbit?
Lance, are you technically a Zootopia conservative? You fucking you like animation. You're a
Well,
conservative.
not anymore.
What the fuck does that
Well, I
have
like
to do with
anime,
being...
but not cartoons.
Dude, Lance, you're a Full Metal Alchemist conservative.
Yes, I'm a
You're
Full Metal
shitty.
Alchemist conservative. I'm a Neon Genesis Evangelion conservative.
Yeah.
Hey, continue on.
Conservative as I am a Zootopia conservative. Generally, a Zootopia conservative.
This is just
Isn't
like a
always
Tumblr on
picky about
feminist,
things. He's-
finding out what
he or
they
she
want
is-
to be their first gender.
Likes instead of
This
liking
term's gonna catch on,
like
dude. Zootopia
different types of
conservative.
movies and
No,
different
it's not.
types of
Just you wait. Fuck
This
you,
guy's a
fan.
fucking
music
dumbass.
Just you wait.
This guy's a
entertainment
loser.
That's harsh. This guy.
as the
Duh.
conservative, the mainstream media
Like,
as portrayed as this.
I've listened to a lot of his videos.
Liking-
He
As I said, liking
probably
country
has to
This
music,
This
man's
man's
intelligent.
being kind of narrow-minded.
broke sometime in his life.
Oh,
Like
Oh, I'm just being narrow-minded, yeah.
We will listen
this
to
guy
another's
makes like
opinion, but we won't
anti-feminist
take it with a
videos. They're
grain of
really
salt.
cringy.
If they're right about something, we'll admit they're right about something.
Fucking get it out
I
already, you
just want to explain
bastard.
what that really meant. I mean, you'll know the.
Oh, this is
no,
sped
we're
up.
not furry. Not all. Some of us are furries, but not all of us.
Fuck this. We don't want
But I
to.
just wanted to explain that.
I just
term
forgot that it was
so
sped
people
up.
know what
Man,
I'm
this
talking
guy's
about.
neck's really
I'll come
bothering.
back later and explain more of it to you.
What? That's
Bye.
it?
Have a nice
That's
day.
it? That is it? That's all? What the fuck? What the fuck?
He never made part 2, unfortunately.
12 views.
Oh, I feel
I-
bad.
I mean, like I said, he made a video where it's like I don't care if people watch these or if they agree with me. I just want to put my thoughts out there in the world before I die. So like I said, all power to him. You keep on keeping on, but
You mean more power to him, not all
I mean,
power to him, you
but at the same
fucking retard.
at the same time, I'm gonna keep on keeping on making fun of your retarded opinions. But that's okay. I mean, I don't hate you. You
See if
You
I can
do
just-
you, bro. Anyway.
What, do you want to watch more of this fucker?
So I did send I sent Lance a link if he wants to look at someone retarded that I know of on the internet.
He better not be like some mainstream person.
He's not some mainstream person. He gets like 12 views.
No, I bet Gadak is like making memes about him.
Yeah, this is a rap about
sometimes you probably need about one.
It's lame.
No, skip her out halfway through.
And fuck
Skip
your
her out halfway through.
Like
this isn't Lane. This is Seraphine.
Pull out your lipstick so I can suck it. Eat the peanut butter, man. I'll be damned. Yeah, keep your enemies close, but your bros closer. Keep your dogs next to you in a folder. Yeah, he's the lipstick man. He's sucking dog lipstick. Says.
See, how did you find
Is this dude high?
Yeah, he is.
Of course he is.
It's the lipstick song. Put
I
it
really
on.
need to know how you found
That's why
something.
the fucking dogs is gone.
Why?
Sucking the lipsticks on off.
Did you find this when you were like looking up
He's the
furry porn or
lipstick man.
something?
The fuck is this?
Dude, I had to show you guys this. You had to have it in your life. It's the lipstick man.
Just shut up. We're done. Get this fucking thing out of here from my site.
Okay, whatever.
Next fucking video, okay?
Oh yeah, what is the next video? Oh god.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst thing ever.
Okay, so there's this YouTuber who's like an anarcho-capitalist guy. His name is Mr. Dapperton. Okay, pause this. His name is Mr. Dapperton. and he used to go by Anarchy Ball until like somebody else took his name. It was like some like European guy. Anyway, he has this animated intro, and it's the cringiest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's just so fucking bad. Okay, just fucking play the shit.
Yeah, let's listen to this.
Yeah, like he's coming out, and he's just gonna flip him off. Yeah, fuck you, both of you.
Fuck you, yeah, fuck you. You're both the same.
I uses an animated web icon for like.
Dude, he doesn't care to beat up a woman.
Because high energy animation.
2004 round. Like this looks like something.
Oh my god, he's gonna kill that guy.
Someone make this in MS Paint.
It's like Dad's home on fucking Newgrounds.
Oh, it's okay though.
This is only like a first like work in progress of this. I think there's a final cut of this.
Why would you upload the fucking shitty version then? Why would you upload this version?
No. This was earlier, and then he uploaded a final cut version later. Well, not that better, but it's still better.
So it's gonna go from 2004 Newgrounds to 2006 Newgrounds.
Yes.
How
He has to censor the swastika out.
Also, I see no difference.
Is that the only update?
Yeah, it's just there's this fucking.
Oh yeah, he fucked up this upload.
It's
You
Mr.
can see like the
Dapperton.
frames are blending together. See, look.
This looks like it was animated by eggs.
No, I could do better.
It's okay though because Mr. Dapperton. Oh, he doesn't have pity in this one. Okay, I see. Look, the women like him.
Yeah, we love you, Mr. Dapperton. We love you.
Mr. Dapperton.
We did try to beat us up. I mean, he did beat us up. But,
Yeah,
well, now we want to have sex with you.
they're black spurgs. Alright.
So what did you think of that?
It was
That was
bad.
amazing.
It was
No,
terrible.
it was
He's
fucking
not,
amazing.
he thinks he's way better than he actually is. I don't know what else to say.
He thinks he's some like badass man, like going around with guns.
Yeah, dude.
like-
That's why at the end,
his fucking
you know that
monocle.
he gave specific instructions and everything he wanted in that intro and song. Like, yeah, be like defender of the NAP.
Defender of the NAP. Like he's such a badass with his non-aggression principle.
Yeah, I know.
He's
Yeah, I
basically
know,
the
right?
equivalent of like people who like
Wait.
dress in steampunk.
Wait. I've got it. So here's the thing about that, right? It was just a bunch of fucking Nazis and communists in front of a government building, and he came and he fucking fucked with them. That's not part of the non-aggression principle. He fucked with their.
Well, no. They attacked him first, so he was
they
in his
didn't.
right to defend. Yes, they did.
Oh yeah, because they saw him and he was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, and they flipped him off, and then they looked at each other and they
Yeah.
jumped. They just did this anime jump at him, and then they just, like,
Yeah.
used his
Super
anarcho
anarchy
capitalist
powers.
Dude, that's gonna get stuck in Steve-O's head now.
And after fucking look up, look down.
It's look down. There's no look up, you moron.
I don't fuck that blocker. Fuck, we mentioned him again. Fuck Mr. Dapperton hit too. He's really gay.
Yeah, he is.
Wow, stellar commentary, Steve.
Cringiest fucking thing ever. Like, this is something you'd see on Newgrounds back in 2006, except this is like actually taking itself serious.
You mind if we go down a detour and like look at the person who actually did this intro? Because he's like a Christian, and I just want you to show his intro about how like Jesus made him. No, it's called artistic
layperson
intro. Just look up the artistic layman intro. He's like a Jesus freak, I guess, or whatever.
Jesus
but Mr. Dapperton's an atheist, so it's like really
coming soon.
It's really awkward.
Mr. Dapperton.
Just click on a random video. I think it has the intro in it.
Godspeed to Mr.
Something that's like 6 minutes long. Okay, there we go. Look, he's drawing.
And then he's drawing.
I'm watching Evangelion right now.
And then the Bible? The Bible? Oh, now he's inspired.
Yeah, now he can draw correctly.
And now he can make full metal.
No, he's gonna make this anime pose.
Oh my! No, dude.
What is your reality? It is at the end of your dream.
That's it.
Dude, why's he got fucking Jedi hair?
Maybe because that's how he braids his hair in real life.
He's a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, he's a Jedi Knight. Dude, he looks like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi in the fucking animated series.
Oh, he kind of does.
Yeah, he does. He does look like
Except
that.
he's still a Padawan because he has the braid.
Yeah, and he's not as handsome.
All right, what's next up on the video playlist?
Video.
Oh god, the Thanos video.
Oh, I love this video. I fucking love this one.
This video is a fucking masterpiece.
The Thanos video?
It's Irate Gamer.
No, Chris Neo. There we go. That's it.
Okay. Background for this first. I'm sure if you've been around the block for just a little while, you know who the Irate Gamer is.
He rebranded?
Yeah, he did.
He moved on from YouTube for quite a while. He does toy reviews. It's like this little puppet Minecraft fucking Minecraft Steve. It's Puppet Steve, and it's never wanted like any confirmation that this guy was just a sellout hack. Then just go on his toy review channel. But then he came back and he hasn't uploaded in a few months again. I guess he's done with. He realized that this failed completely, but he made an ass out of himself, and he left us with this destroys the video game universe.
Yeah, originally he had Fortnite in the title to try and cash in on like the whole Fortnite craze because there was like a Infinity War tie-in to Fortnite, and then he removed it later. For,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about Chris. He will always chase trends that are like the most obvious thing to chase, but he'll always chase them late and usually by a long shot. So even though he's a sellout, he never gets the benefit of actually selling out. He just gets the distrust of anyone.
He got partnered and got featured on YouTube's front homepage way before James Rolfe ever did.
Yeah. Well, he did do this like as soon as the movie came out.
I'm sorry, Archfiend. I know Archfiend a few years ago got all mad. Like, you guys need to just leave Chris Bors alone. It's just pathetic to keep messing with him at this point. Watch this fucking video and tell me that
he's cringy.
This isn't just some fat hack. I guess he's not fat anymore. This isn't just some hack. And then just go also watch his fucking Puppet Steve videos, because it's the most pathetic thing ever. And he's putting on a high-pitched voice. He's going, "Hey kids, it's Puppet Steve here. Today we're gonna review Five Nights at Freddy's toys." Like this.
Yeah.
You're too old.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Toys are for kids.
This cancer. This is the worst video you'll ever fucking see.
Retro gamers. Now, if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War,
oh my god, those glasses.
He's Chris Neo now.
He's Neo. Well, he was Chris Tube at first, then he changed it to Chris Neo.
Dude, that's like the stupidest rebranding decision.
What? Oh wait, never mind.
Oh my god.
Have you ever seen Red Letter Media's Nerd Crew? Just watch their intro, then compare it to this shit. Like, it's just...
It's the exact same.
I then came home and was inspired to sit down and play
video game
Spiderman
music makes me charming, right?
Nintendo. But after coming home and playing one of my favorite Spider-Man games, I noticed something
quite redundant there.
Oh, this guy's known for his fucking redundancy.
Where the heck is Spider-Man at?
Where the heck is Spider-Man?
And then
reaction, realistic.
Oh my god, look at this explanation.
So I guess that also means he went around the video game existence as well?
Is he actually
So I
doing
tried
this?
putting in another
Yes.
song.
Fucking cringy.
He was actually
He was
doing
missing
this.
from that too. But wait a minute. If Thanos had an impact on Spider-Man games, what about other games?
Yeah, where the heck is
Go back. I want to
Spider-Man?
see him
Then
when.
that I put in Super Mario.
Oh,
Just as crazy as he's ever
Slow,
been.
slow that down when he like goes for the fucking video when he like
Yeah,
launches
yeah, he goes
forward for the
bug-eyed,
video
dude. He
games.
goes bug-eyed. It's true.
Chris is like Cal for quite a while. This is nothing. This is nothing new.
Yeah, but
He's-
just look at this performance.
But wait a minute. If Thanos had an impact on Spider-Man games, what
Now
about
he sounds
other
like
games?
Oh my god! Oh,
He's just like,
where the heck is Spider-Man?
So I found. I just want to add. I found whenever this video came out, I found an old Irate gamer blog, like a hate blog, and it's still being updated to this day. Like I guess that's pretty pathetic. That's something that Archfiend probably. I agree with Archfiend on that. If you're updating a blog, if you've been updating it since 2007. And every time the side puts out a video, you make a blog post detailing how shit it is, then like you need to find a new fucking hobby because that's really pathetic.
back to Irate Gamer.
And back to this. Oh, God.
It was then that I put in Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
And I was like, where the
Everything ran
heck
pretty
is
smoothly
Spider-Man?
until the part where Toad is supposed
Listen
to
to
show
his
up.
amazing
The only
Mario
problem is that he
impression.
never showed up.
Wait,
So of course this
Thanos
Mario
killed
had
Toad?
No idea where to
He's
go
not
next.
a Marvel.
Mamma mia! Where's the princess?
No, he
Is she in
killed
the
all the
castle
video
yet?
game characters.
He's not even
Well, half of
stoppable
them.
in Super
They
Mario
never
Bros.
mentioned that
too.
in Infinity War. Wait, why is
My
there three?
God.
So he fights out Toad.
Thanos'
Remember?
reign,
You
he's
just
not in
see,
there.
didn't you hear his amazing?
Dude, he
Well,
seems
guess
so
what?
happy about the
There's no
destruction of
paper
half the
bullets
video.
for
Oh
little-
yeah.
Hey, did you get your paper yet?
No, I didn't. Where's that stupid
That guy
paperboy at?
breakdancing?
Yeah, I want to hit him with my car.
Amazing
I put in the
editing.
game
Yeah,
Mortal
great
Kombat,
epic
but there was
style,
no Mortal
great.
Kombat announcer to start the game. So, do we just stand here or what?
Oh my god!
Then I put in Donkey Kong, but there was no damsel in distress to save.
He's doing to his Mario
Where's
again.
everyone going?
I put in Sonic and Knuckles, but Knuckles is not even a selectable character.
That's so bad, dude. That's so bad.
He could.
Put in Pac-Man.
He wasn't able
but
to
there's
edit
no
out the
Pac-Man.
big
There's
knuckles
just
in
ghosts
the
running around.
background, but he could.
I know.
Hey, where's the yellow
Oh,
guy?
listen to this one. This is the worst
I
one of
don't
them
know.
all.
You want to go get some ice cream? Ooh, yeah, ice cream. Yeah, that sounds good. All right.
Dude, I've never been so insulted in my entire
Because all
life.
the turtles are gone, except for Raphael.
Lance, are you burned out of
The
this?
suckiest player in the game.
I might have to
Attack range
tap
is so
out.
small. Stupid Raphael.
It'll end soon.
Wait a minute. What about the duck hunt dog? All right,
Yeah,
so
the
far so
dreaded
good.
duck hunt dog.
The cock hunt dog.
Oh, that was too obvious.
Fuck you!
Go to hell!
Yeah, but
Go to hell!
All my
you
favorite
saw that
Nintendo
coming,
games
you know.
have been altered in some
Yeah, I should
way
have seen
just
that
because
coming,
Thanos
honestly.
has altered reality.
Here, like now he's gonna plead to the
Since Avengers
Avengers.
Honestly, I
Listen to me.
deserved
Next
that.
year,
I deserved
you have 1
that,
year of this
Steven.
bull
Okay,
crap.
listen. Look,
He's gonna plead to the Avengers.
Avengers, please defeat Thanos. You cannot have the gaming world in such disarray like
Yeah,
this.
Please
So wait, in
Avengers.
his mind, is this still going on?
And this video's old.
Make sure
This
you check
video's
out my
old, but
official sponsor,
Yeah, but
Chris Neo Show.
the Avengers haven't saved the world from Kane.
yeah, I mean, I hope whenever fucking Infinity, I don't know what's gonna be called. Whenever they make the
Endgame.
Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, I know that's not the name.
game, or yeah, that's what I think it was. Like, I hope he makes a sequel because like this is the most cringe video I've ever seen. Like, look at this. Wow, this was unique. Nobody has brought this up on YouTube. Good job. And of course, the Irate Gamer, he favorited that comment.
Thanos even destroyed the Fortnite part of the video. It's nowhere to be found. Spider-Man 3. We watched that movie. I've watched it like for the fourth time.
I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, but I haven't watched it recently until the other night.
So So basically, the first 20 minutes of this movie is basically like, where the heck is Spider-Man at? Because he's just Peter Parker the entire until he gets into the fight sequence, and then when he gets in the fight sequence with the Green Goblin, he's not even fucking Spider-Man. So I remember watching this as a kid and being like, where the fuck is? I was seriously like, where the fuck is Spider-Man? I wasn't saying that because I was a kid, but.
Spider-Man.
The movie picks up kind of slow. I would say it's slower than any of the other Raimi movies, including the one that had to introduce an origin story. So I found that pretty interesting. Not only that, but the movie kind of has bad pacing issues, and it tries to cram in too much, which is something that a lot of people have talked about. I'm sure we could talk about that at length later on.
Yeah, that's something I have for later on. Something I want to bring up is just, I know Eggs and Sword didn't like this either, but just Mary Jane. Like, Eggs, do you want to rant about Mary Jane? I think.
Look,
Mary Jane's a bitch.
Yeah, she like in the second movie she was a bitch too. In this one, she's basically the same. Like even after she knows who Spider-Man is, like she sucks at this like play. They like give her bad reviews, and then she gets fired. And then she looks at Spider-Man, like everyone cheering on for Spider-Man, and she just gets like really jealous for no fucking reason. And then there's a scene where like Spider-Man's at a public event and then kisses like
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy.
He does the kiss. He does the kiss they did the first film. So
and then she gets jealous of that too, and then just starts like ignoring his calls again for no reason. And then the next scene, she starts like, it's like, oh, I really care about you, Peter, I really do. And then, oh, I'm so concerned about you. And then, oh yeah, he said, I don't need help or anything. Like,
I think the most frustrating thing about this entire movie is that it's just Peter. It really equivocates to Peter wanting to please Mary Jane for the entire length of the film, or almost all of it. I mean,
until he smacks her, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's a very short section of the movie where he turns into emo Peter.
All right, something I want to bring up is the Sandman, the death of Uncle Ben. That whole retcon is just like,
it didn't need to happen.
I mean, it's so obvious. Like, if you watch the first movie, it's so obvious. Like, that's not how this series of events happened. Like, this is not what they intended to do. And it just feels like Sandman, like, you see during the beginning, like, imagines it. Like, when he finds out that this guy killed his uncle, like, the flashback they show is, like, the most brutal thing ever. Like, it's just Sandman mercilessly gunning down Uncle Ben, and he doesn't even blink. He just guns him down. He thinks nothing of it, and he steals his car. And, like, and then at the end, it's, like, it's revealed that, like, Sandman, he was
conflicted, and then the evil guy in the first movie like bumps him, and then he shoots him by accident. It's like, whoops.
The thing that bothers me about that is if he was just like, I'm sorry,
he just walks up to him and he like taps Sandman on the shoulder, and then Sandman shoots Uncle Ben. It makes no sense.
Yeah, he just taps him on the head.
He's pulled the trigger.
Well, not taps him on the head, taps him on the shoulder, and then he just pulls it. It's like, whoops, I just killed this guy.
He's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that.
Whoops, I had my gun out and pointed at someone. Wasn't my fault I pulled the trigger.
Sandman himself, like, is just fucking stupid. Like, the way he gets his powers, just like there's a big fucking, like, what, it was like a particle generator. What was the sign? They said there was some sign.
That one scene everyone talks about, and they're like, wow, this was so.
It was like
a bird will fly out.
It was guarded off by a chain link fence. Like, this is the security. They have no cameras either to like detect if a human gets in there. And so then it turns him into sand. But then like the locket of his.
Why are there government experiments out in the middle of New York City?
Yeah, that too. But then like the locket he had of it, everything turns to sand, including his clothes and his fucking
symbolism.
Everything turns to sand except for the locket of his daughter. So they can have like a touching emotional.
They could have just cut the Sandman out of this fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, they could have cut Venom out too. I mean,
I'll explain that later. But I have a way that they could have done this whole movie to be better. There's a couple of changes that I think would have made this movie a lot better. They still could have had like the Venom story. But yeah, I would have cut out the Sandman entirely. There's also one problem I have with that character towards the end. It doesn't make any sense why he would like run into fucking Venom, this fucking tentacle monster guy, and be like, yeah, I'll team up with you. Wasn't he just trying to make money for his daughter?
That scene is the funniest shit because like he attacks Venom thinking it's the black suited Spider-Man. Then he realizes it's Venom. Venom yells in his face or does the fucking shriek.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man drops him and he just like starts walking away. He doesn't like acknowledge the fact that a creature, an animalistic Spider-Man creature just like shrieked in his face. He just like starts walking away. He doesn't even like.
Is that normal in New York City? I guess so.
He doesn't even try to defend himself or like walk away like with like his arms up trying to like just
a Hillary supporter.
Yeah, make sure this creature doesn't attack him. He just like walks away.
I just want to point out that scene is so fucking rushed. Like it's literally told in like 5 seconds that they meet each other. Just happen to walk into each other by accident.
The villains need to team up at the end, right? So that Harry and Peter can team up.
Yeah, but could you like make it like last less than like a millisecond? Like he's just like they just happen to bump into each other, and then they're like, "Oh no, let's team up because we both hate Spider-Man."
I want to kill Spider-Man. You want to kill
Heck is
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I want to kill the spider. You want to kill the spider.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I have a little nitpick about Sandman too. At the end of the movie, he cries, which just like
Yeah, which is supposed to be made of
He
sand.
does the sexy cry.
Yeah, he's made of sand. First of all, that makes sense. But like, wouldn't that just like make him muddy if he's crying? Like,
Yeah,
Oh my
the
god,
movie
you're looking into
established-
that too much, dude.
No, the movie established that whenever he gets wet, he turns into mud, and that's his weakness.
earlier.
But he cries, so wouldn't that like hurt
He
him?
cries sand. He cries sand.
He cries sand.
It's the funniest
Cries
thing.
fucking sand.
Yes, he does.
He is crying liquid tears. It shows that quite obvious.
Prove it!
And then
Prove it, you bastard!
the fucking movie. And then he
Show me the empirical evidence! I've seen the movie
And in the
1,000 times.
Then in the same scene, Sandman flies away. He literally flies away. He doesn't. I always like. I always thought that like he just blew away like from when I was a kid, and then like when I rewatched this, I was just like my jaw
Fly.
dropped. He
Goes
flies-
back up, yeah.
He like a big tunnel of sand just like flies off into the distance and like around a building, and it's like what? It's so
Also,
fucking stupid.
I don't get why he was so big and muddy at the end, but then he's suddenly a person all of a sudden. Like, wasn't that?
That makes no sense either.
What doesn't make sense either is his whole like skin changing powers. Like he's able to change back to his own form, but he never. But is he able to change his appearance? Because it's
And how does
like, he
how
can
does
change
clothes work
sand.
with it? How does
Yeah.
clothes work with it? Yeah,
It's another
yeah.
thing.
We could talk about this all day. It doesn't make any sense.
Talk-
The villain doesn't make any sense, even though it's pretty decent CGI for the time. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like I said, the entire character didn't need to be in the film, so the fact that they shoved it in and sold the Uncle Ben backstory to do it, even though this was only 3 movies in.
While we're on the topic of Sandman, I just like there's so much. The fucking the fight scene between him and like emo Pete.
Oh my god! Good riddance.
Yeah, that's pretty cringy too. But like the editing, like whenever Spider-Man's pulling up like that big pipe and like the nails,
Yes,
the nails are popping out. Like the editing is the most.
because they use a wide angle lens.
like for 20 fucking minutes. Like I couldn't get over the editing. It just zoomed in on his face. Like every time a nail pops out and it goes ding, like it zooms in on his face.
Yeah, it zooms on his face, and then the last shot of Sandman. I want to say the last shot of Sandman when the bolts start like popping out, he just does his cry. He just makes this like sad face at the end.
He winces.
No, he winces and makes a sad face, but all the other shots he's like concerned. But then at the end, he's just like it's like he's crying.
He just has like a neutral look on his face. He's just standing there, like looking like.
No. You have to watch that scene again.
And by the end, he's like, "I want to kill the spider."
Yeah, and then
Okay.
at the end, he wants to kill the spider. He wants revenge.
So
Like,
wait, he's no much better than Peter.
Yeah, no. I want to say like
character. That doesn't even make sense for his character because like they establish him to just be like a sympathetic villain. Like
I just noticed something about this movie.
he's trying to get money for his daughter. That's like why he killed
Mhm.
Uncle Ben and everything. He's trying to get money for his daughter, but now he's like out for revenge. I'm gonna
Yeah. Hold on. I want to say that points to. I've just noticed something overall like about this movie. The first half, Sandman is like it's not really the best written, but like it makes sense. And then he just doesn't make any sense at all. Like the first
They
half
use
of
him
the
as a
movie,
plot device.
they focus on Sandman, and he's consistently written to be that way, right? He's like the misunderstood character. And then in the second half, like the final act, he just turns into a bit generic bad guy, right? The same thing, like Venom goes for the opposite, where he's just literally nobody, and then at the final act, he becomes this villain that has like all this motivation to kill Spider-Man, and then Sandman just happens to align with him for some reason, even though he's supposed to be like,
Yeah, then Venom bumps into him at the end of the movie, and he's like, "Where the heck is Spider-Man?"
no, that's not what happens. But
God, I want you to kill Peter Parker.
yeah,
Oh my God, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And next, let's move away from Sandman. We focused like on him for like 20 minutes.
No.
The black suited emo Peter. I mean, like
What's there to say about that at this point?
something that I don't know if this has been said before, but like again with how rushed this movie is, like he gets the symbiote gets on him, and then like you see it cuts to him in front of a building, and he like jumps around. He's like, "Wow, this is amazing power, it's so cool," and he's all happy, and then like instantly goes after Sandman.
yeah, he becomes rage,
He destroys
angsty
that
Peter Parker.
instantly. It would have been a lot better if like you saw him transition slowly
Into a woman.
It's just instantly he's like destroys Eddie Brock's camera. He's like he's like he calls him chump. He's like nice camera chump, and then he like destroys his camera. It's so cringy. And then like
Well, Peter's a nerd, so that's what he thinks is cool.
Yeah, and then Peter destroys Sandman and thinks he killed him, and then he's like, good riddance.
and then he's like walking. He's like putting on his suit, and he looks into a mirror, and he has like this mean look on his face. Ugh. And then
he changes his hair.
He makes his hair emo. It's like
I know it's ridiculous, but I mean,
I think the emo hair changes in each scene will switch. Like he'll have normal hair, he'll have his normal parted hair, then he'll have emo hair. Like depending on if he's doing something bad in the scene, he has fucking.
Okay, I'll say this. I'll say this one thing in Emo Peter's defense. So, whenever he gets the black suit, he's always been depicted as like a major edgelord. And when these movies were made, like in the late 2000s, that was like the edgelord thing. Was like the emo shit. That was the edgy thing then. So that's what a nerd like Peter Parker would think would be cool.
At least the edgelords, they washed their fucking hair. Peter's hair, whenever it's emo in this movie, looks so like I know this is kind of a nitpick, but it looks so fucking greasy.
That's the point.
Like it's fucking his hair looks like it's covered in oil, and like as soon as he stops being evil, he takes a shower, and I know the scene is like supposed to symbolize like he's washing off his sins or whatever, but like I view it as like he's taking a fucking shower because he hasn't washed
for the
his
first
hair.
time, yeah.
For the first time in months.
Ever since he became evil. It was like what?
And somehow he was able to get women when he smelled like complete shit. So
complete shit.
The only woman that seemed interested in him was that office bitch. Maybe
no. Gwen Stacy was dating him.
Oh yeah, Gwen.
And then earlier in that like nightclub scene, he was able to like.
Oh yeah, he was pulling birds. You're right.
Yeah.
And he gets some fucking waitress to swoon over him. He's like, "Hey, hot stuff, get us a seat, won't you?" And it's like, God,
give us some shade.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Cringy.
It's funny. It is pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
cringy montage that everyone like complains about, where it's like he's humping the air and he's like dancing in the streets. It's funny.
Now it's time for me to bring this up. I just need to bring this up. Okay, yeah. So when he goes into that, you notice when he goes into that store, right? He comes out under a second later in a suit. He goes in without a suit, comes out in a second later without a suit. Does that mean that Peter Parker has super speed like Harry Osborn?
Oh,
is that how they were able to compete with each other during that fight scene, dude?
Yes.
I just cracked the code, dude. Is that the
he has super speed.
Yes.
In fact, can't teleport into new clothes because that's not part of his power set.
No. Here's my theory. He walks out with the clothes. He has the power to stop time. Okay, so he entered the building, stopped time, then got his clothes on, and then got out with the clothes.
No, that's not part of his power set.
Oh yeah, that's not part of his power set.
Okay, so I guess he just has super speed now.
Yeah. Dude, here's the thing. Spider-Man 3, the first successful Flash movie ever. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, this is actually like the first like major blockbuster with like a character that has super speed powers, No.
Super speed.
My theory is that the symbiote gave him high testosterone. He had low T at first, and then he got high testosterone.
I think it's the opposite. It made him more like who?
Remember the scene with like the door? He's like, "I'll give you rent when you fix this damn door." Then the landlord is like, "He's a good boy. He's a good boy." And it's like, I made him sound fucking Arab there, but
Another girl that he was able to sway was that Ukrainian girl. Yeah.
Oh, that Ukrainian girl. Oh my god.
He's on the phone with his professor and he makes like this cringy innuendo about his nuts, and it's like, oh my god, like what? This is terrible. That's part of the montage that everyone makes fun of.
Anyway.
Fucking Chad Peter.
So Peter's shunning Mary Jane. He has high T and he's being an asshole, and he's super speed and he's being a dick. And so Mary Jane, in her moment of she's all solemn and she doesn't want to. Even though she was a complete cunt, she goes to Harry, and Harry forgot his. We didn't say this, but he forgets that he thinks Peter killed his wife.
And then like 10 minutes later, he instantly gets it back.
Yeah. So where was that plot device for? Just
No, like they do the twist. He and Mary Jane do the twist, and that's
The
also
lie revealed.
really fucking
Just do
cringy.
the twist.
Cringy,
Yeah.
fucking the cringy montage of him walking down the street.
Well,
Nobody.
the reason why they gave him amnesia is so that he could stop being the villain for 30 minutes, so Sandman could be the villain.
Yeah, they
Basically-
needed to put him on pause so they can establish the Venom suit and
That's
Sandman.
That's why Sandman had to be cut out of this film.
Basically, this entire movie is structured like villains just keep like swapping. So Eddie Brock doesn't become the villain until like the third act, right? But then we get the Green Goblin. Then he loses his memory, gets put out of commission. Then we get Sandman, and then Sandman dies of like mud stuff, and then Green Goblin comes back. Then he gets killed. Well, allegedly, like they think he's, but. Well, he somehow survives that explosion, but that like takes him out for like 20 more minutes.
Yeah, it just makes his face a little have some makeup on it. That's all.
And then
He
Peter
was able to get out of the way with his super speed.
Oh my god. Yeah.
and then Peter conquers the symbiote, and then Venom gets born, and then he's the villain for like the next 30 minutes, and then teams up with Sandman.
Here's what I would have done to fix the villain problem in this movie.
Just cut one of them.
Not just that. I say cut Sandman entirely, cut Eddie Brock, but not the Venom storyline, and just make fucking Harry.
What's the point of Eddie Brock then? Like, just be an asshole?
Cut him. I said cut him.
No. Here's what I think. Sandman could have been kept in, right? Sandman's fine. You can keep him in there.
I think he's a waste.
No. Well, he could have been just like...
All of Spider-Man 2 was leading up to the Harry Osborn shit being a thing in Spider-Man 3.
Well, we can have the Harry Osborn shit, but I don't really think that it's like enough to warrant...
But Harry already hates Peter. More, so that way they don't have to build up a new character that...
Yeah, but it'll
already...
just be him and Harry Osborn fighting for another like hour and a half. Like Sandman can be kept into the movies, like, and he can fit with the whole theme of
None of the other Raimi movies needed another. They all had one villain, Dr. Octopus. The Green Goblin.
Well, Harry played a role in the second movie. He tried to kill Peter in that movie too.
Yeah, but he wasn't he wasn't
a villain.
He was like a supporting antagonist. Is that the word that you would use?
No. But Sandman can be kept in there, so he can like they can go through the theme of forgiveness, and then Venom can be saved for the end when like the end. Harry should have gotten rid of the Venom suit, and then like there's an after credits scene or whatever, the end scene of the movie where Eddie Brock gets like taken over.
Sure,
by the Venom
they
suit.
could have set up something like that.
Well, I got that opinion from a certain guy that we've mentioned a bit too many times in the show.
Yeah,
but,
Walker.
Yes, but generally that's how it should have been.
I think either cutting out Sandman or cutting out Venom, either one would have worked. Just
and
not
saving
three
the other
villains.
one for another movie.
Now,
When you have three villains, you need to do stupid shit like Amnesia.
I don't think that Venom and Harry would have been a good combination because I don't
Harry already hates Peter.
Yeah, because Harry already hates Peter, so I think that it would have been Sandman and Harry.
Like Harry's like watching Peter, and like Peter goes to like a play, and like Harry's like watching him from the balcony with like fucking binoculars. It's the creepiest scene ever, but like
he's a fucking
shortly
creeper.
afterwards.
Yeah, he is a creeper.
Well, the reason why I'm against the whole like one villain thing is because Harry's been established like twice.
Dude, okay, so
movies,
does that not make sense though to wrap up a trilogy in that way? I mean,
no, he can finish his arc in the third movie too. I'm saying that, but Sandman could have been an antagonist, but
I don't have a problem with 2. I just don't want 3. That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't a fan of how they did Venom. Venom was the worst out of all of them because he was just basically just Topher Grace it was just complete last minute like rushed as shit, like the most rushed villain out of like anything, like in any superhero movie.
My
he's, like,
spider sense is tingling if you know what I'm talking about.
I love being evil. It makes me happy.
I guess 4 villains actually appear in this. One of them appears for about 1 minute. My man Willem Dafoe. He shows up for like
Dafoe.
1 second. He appears. He's like the only villain who appeared in all of these films. Even if like
that's just Harry's subconscious.
It's the best part of the trilogy.
Yeah, he is.
He's like telling Harry to attack the heart because it's right after Harry gains his memory. Like the way Harry regains his memory is like kisses Mary Jane, and then he's like, "Oh no, that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that." Then like it spurs like all the memories come back after that. Doesn't it make sense?
The fart.
He does,
the heart.
The heart. And then like he gets Mary Jane to break up with Peter because he threatens to kill Peter. He should have threatened to kill Mary Jane. Obviously Peter it can hold his ground against Harry. I don't know why she.
You know when I saw this movie when I was like 8 for the first time when I saw it in theaters.
I loved it when it came out.
When I heard that line, the heart, I thought that he was gonna actually just stab him in the heart.
Yeah, me too.
Like not a metaphorical
thing. Rumors at the time that Peter was gonna die in this movie, but it was just Harry.
Yeah,
there was a rumor about that. Wow.
Yeah.
People was talking about it on the internet. Like people made YouTube videos, like proof it. I mean, it wasn't like I'm putting on makes it sound like some of the shit you see now, but it was just like people would make vlogs. Like I saw Spider-Man 3 and like Peter died. The venom it tore his throat out. Like Peter died. And it was people thought fucking Peter was gonna die in this movie.
Dude, yeah. At the end, he was gonna be like, "Don't tell Harry."
So Harry does the thing with he attacks Peter's heart and he makes Mary Jane break up with him, and then he I forget why exactly, but Peter goes to his the dialogue is so bad. Harry's trying to like brag. He's trying to piss Peter off by being like I was there for her. I was there for Mary Jane.
Oh god, that line. Oh no.
He takes his middle finger and his index finger and he rubs his lips. He's like,
he puckers his lips and he takes it and he's just like basically like he rubs his fingers around his lips and he's like strawberry.
Butterfingers. Butterfingers.
Yeah, he's like he's referring to what Mary Jane's lips tasted like. He's like strawberry, and then Peter he lunges at him, and then like fucking Harry's in just like a basic not a suit, but like he's in like a dress shirt, and then like a scuffle, and then like part of the goblin suit just like pops out of his arm, and it's like what?
He just wears his knife arms at all times.
Where did it come from? Like, there's no way. Like, you
Batman glove.
You could. There's no glove.
Like Spider-Man's always wearing his costume under his clothes, so Green Goblin's doing the same thing.
Especially because Harry's is a lot more like militaristic. Like, there's a lot more going on there than just like that's completely.
He's dressed like a ninja.
Knives just pop out of Harry's arm. Like, it's the stupidest shit. And then the goblin bombs. Like, yeah, we mentioned that. I have a lot to say about this. The goblin bombs. Yeah, Peter bit slaps Harry, and then Harry tries to throw a bomb at him, and then Peter throws the bomb back at him. And then later on in the movie, you see that like Harry.
It only gave him a scar.
These goblin bombs are like the most inconsistent thing ever. Like,
yeah, in the first movie.
Let me explain this. So in the first movie, the bombs, you see their effect. You see the effect in the first movie. Even in the first movie, it's inconsistent because at first you see Norman Osborn. He uses it on the company executives before they can sell his company, and it turns them into skeletons, and the CG is fucking terrible. But like it looks like Mortal Kombat, like Shang Tsung taking the soul out of someone.
No, they turn into skeletons instantly, and then the skeletons turn into ash.
And then the skeletons turn into ash. But then later on, at the end of Spider-Man 1, he uses the same bomb and he throws it at Spider-Man, and it just like knocks him back. Like it doesn't disfigure.
And tears off his mask.
It tears off his mask, but like it doesn't disfigure him. It just blows him back, and so that's completely inconsistent too. But then Harry becomes disfigured, like his entire the side of his face that the bomb blew up, and it completely disfigures his face, and it's all burnt. But then later on in the movie, whenever Peter pulls Eddie Brock from the symbiote, and there's like this venom creature, and so then he takes one of those bombs, he throws it at the venom creature, and Eddie Brock jumps in to protect the. I don't know why he fucking did. Eddie Brock decided to.
No, because he wants the symbiote because he's addicted to it.
Can I mention something real fast? I just want.
I'm almost finished. So he throws the bomb, and then Eddie is just completely disintegrated. He just blows up. So like, what do these bombs do? Like, do they turn you into skeletons? Do they disfigure you? Do they fucking completely disintegrate you? Like, what? Like, it makes no sense at all. Like, bombs are the most inconsistent thing ever. Like, and throughout the entire series, these goblin bombs, they just make no sense. Like, what? It's fucking retarded. I noticed that every time one of these bombs appeared, I just noticed that.
So the scene after where Venom and Eddie Brock get nuked. So do you guys remember? I'm sure you remember this. There used to be a lot of theory videos on this that Eddie Brock survived somehow, or somehow part of the Venom symbiote survived. Because look, you can see one of his bones. You can see one of his bones. He
You
survived.
see, like a little tiny bit of symbiote crawling on the ground.
Yeah.
That.
That back over there, that's the symbiote.
Yeah, it's the symbiote.
And there's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like all the characters in this movie, like you just hate every one of them. Like Mary Jane's a complete bitch. Peter obviously goes through his emo phase. Like Harry, whenever he regains his memory with the fucking strawberries.
Is this the only Sam Raimi movie without weird extras?
It has weird extras in it.
You stole
is
that
this
guy's
the one where-
pizza.
No, that's not this one. That's Spider-Man 2 has most of the weird extras.
Yeah, it does. Well, there was some weird, really it's Spider-Man. Like everyone was like, there's just like a terrorist attack. Like people were dying.
Spider-Man.
Remember the little girl who sells the camera to
Yeah.
and she's
Films
like,
extra.
and it's like, it's really good. And there's like the kids who are like cheering on, like Harry blows up Sandman, and there's like kids in there, and they're like the audience watch, I guess not audience, but the crowd watching, and they're like, wicked cool, man, this is sick. And it's like, oh my god, this is awful. Then, like,
Remember the exposition when Peter Parker, when Spider-Man turns to like evil, and people are like reading the news, and then like he listens to what the people have to say, and it's like the most awkward like expository dialogue.
You know, a lot of people don't know this about the movie, but Spider-Man 3 is the only movie out of the Raimi trilogy where the music isn't done by Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman did the music in general.
Yeah, he did it for 1 and 2, but he didn't do it for this one. Most people don't know that because the new guy that they got to do it emulated the music almost to a T. But yeah, it's a different guy. I always found that kind of interesting.
That's an interesting tidbit, yeah. Continuing on though with the plot, because I took notes while watching this movie. Like there was just so much that like just popped out that I had to bitch about. But the scene where he goes to the jazz club like to piss off Mary Jane to make her jealous with Gwen Stacy, and it's like the biggest inconsistency. Like they needed a like Gwen Stacy doesn't appear at all after the scene. Well, she appears at the funeral at the end, but she doesn't really say anything. But so rid of her character, and so Peter, he goes there to piss off Mary Jane. He gets on stage and he starts playing the piano, and he looks to Mary Jane and he says, this song is for you. And then Gwen Stacy, it cuts to her. She was looking in her makeup. She was looking, she was like doing her makeup, and she didn't even see what happened because she looks up after he says that. So she didn't see him direct, like, she didn't see him direct that message towards Mary Jane. Then they start dancing. They start like, he and like Mary Jane starts or not Mary Jane, he and Gwen Stacy start dancing, and he like pulls the moves out on her, and he's being a Chad, and he lifts up her leg, and like people in the audience like, yeah, woohoo! And it's like the cringiest shit ever, and she's completely fine with that. And then immediately afterwards, she's like, wait, this song was for her?
Well, she does look at no. Peter does look at Mary Jane, and then she sees that, but
Gwen Stacy was looking at her makeup. She looked up after.
I mean, maybe they were going for that.
But why did she dance with him in the first place? Why did she just like agree to dance with him? And she's like having this she's being very seductive around him while they do this dance. And then she's like immediately afterwards, she like has a problem with it, even though
they just want to get rid of her as soon as possible so they can get rid of the whole emo Peter arc.
He beats the shit out. I don't even remember why. They decide like, Peter, you need the bouncer. He's like, all right, buddy, we need to go. And he's like, so he's like, get your hands off me, rah! And he beats the shit out of that guy. And a bunch of people start like trying to pull Peter off of him, and one of them is Mary Jane. So he slaps the shit out of Mary Jane, and this is the moment when he realizes that he went hashtag too far. So he goes off to this bell tower, and coincidentally that bell tower, and this is the scene where he prays. He's like, Jesus, I want you to kill Peter Parker, because Peter Parker, Eddie Brock earlier in the film forged he photoshopped photos, and he made forgeries, and Peter Parker exposed that. Then Peter Parker,
Spider-Man doing a crime, right?
He took Gwen Stacy.
Spider-Man with his hand in a cookie jar.
Gwen Stacy was Eddie Brock's girlfriend at the beginning of the film. So then Peter takes her from him, and he's just like he's broken up over it. So yeah, he prays to Jesus that he killed Peter Parker. It happens to be at the same church, at the same bell tower that Peter's at when Peter decides he's gonna take off the symbiote. So so Peter's tearing off the symbiote, and like he's screaming while it's going on. I guess it's painful. And Eddie Brock's able to hear that. He can hear screaming.
He's like, Parker.
He's sitting in
Parker.
No. He looks up like hundreds of feet away, up top in the bell tower, and then he's able to see him. I guess he has like zoom in vision or whatever. Yeah. That's part of his powers. He could just have super
vision. Part of his powers.
Yeah. So anyway,
so he ran up there and then ran back down.
Super speed.
Yeah, so
Dude, why is there so much super speed in this movie? Is that why no one can find Spider-Man? Fuck.
sitting in the pew, you can somehow hear him, even though those you can hear those church bells from miles away. There's no way he would have been able to fucking hear that. And so he manages to hear Peter screaming, and he looks up and he sees that he would not be able to realistically see that far up and notice it was Peter. Yeah, so that makes no sense. So then the whole rush thing with all the fucking the symbiote gets on Brock and he becomes it's like the most rushed shit ever. It happens like the last 30 minutes of the film, or not even the last 20 minutes of the film. Like it's just very rushed. So that happens, and then Peter he goes to Harry, and this is when he realized that he disfigured him with that bomb, and his face is completely deformed.
You left me disfigured, and
Peter leaves, and then Harry's sulking about how Peter's killed his father, and then his butler comes over. Bernard is that
Bernard.
Yeah, but he calls him Bernard.
Whatever.
So then the butler reveals to him, like he reveals to him that like I cleaned your father's wound. It came from his own. It came from his own glider. And like the thought that occurred to me was like, why are you telling him this now? Like
that occurred to everyone.
It's so glaring. It's so like you're telling him this now after he inhaled all the fucking the goblin gas. And he's enhanced his body, and he trained himself to use this glider and everything.
Basically, the super soldier serum.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this. See, I think the reason why I think he observed what was going on with the whole. I think he realized what he did. You know, like how he got in a fight with Peter Parker over the whole Spider-Man shit, and you know how it damaged him in his face because of that, and he just wanted to help him and thought that he was going down a dark path, so he thought that was the time to tell him the truth about.
Maybe he should have warned them before his fucking face got burnt up and scarred.
I mean, yeah, but I think that was what they were going for.
Yeah. By the way, that butler's name, his full name, Bernard Houseperson.
Oh yeah, Bernard Houseman. Oh my god! Like, when I found out that was his full name, and I couldn't believe it.
Houseman.
Dude, I made a joke about that to Lance earlier. That's too spicy for YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm Butler. My name's Bernard Butler.
No. It would be Bernard Butler, man.
Hi, my name is Bernard Bitch Slave, dude.
Your father's wounds came from his own glider.
So then they fight, and Harry decides, yeah, I'll go help Peter after all. And they go out and they fight Venom, and they save Mary Jane, and then Harry dies. He gets stabbed to the chest, and
Harry dies, and then he tells Peter as his last words, "Don't tell Harry."
Yeah, what's funny about this is that we all cried when we saw this as kids. We all thought this was like the saddest scene ever.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I just bitched and ranted and like blew out all my steam about this terrible movie, I gotta call me a contrarian.
You are definitely a contrarian. I think everyone noticed that by this episode. So
best one in the trilogy. It's by far the best one in the trilogy. Like it rushed, but I mean, so is Spider-Man 1 and 2. They're both pretty rushed. Like everything feels like really hokey and rushed in those ones too. Despite
not two.
No. We saw 2. It was really rushed. Like Peter just got his powers back instantly.
Yeah, it is pretty rushed. They're all rushed, and but at least there's actual stakes here. Like, I mean, that's probably because all the characters are awful. They're all awful and terrible, but like, there's actual like stakes going on within the characters instead of just like with Spider-Man 2. It's like the city's half the city's gonna get blown up by the big villains. Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's actually something going on. Like, there's actual stakes within the characters and like their internal motivation. Like Peter becoming a complete asshole, like actually has some implications for later on in the film. And like, I don't know. I think also, I mean, at the end too, like he's seeing like. As bad as the film is, I don't know. I felt seeing Harry and Peter fight at the end also felt like cool. It was cool to see them like be friends again. Like they team up one last time against the villains. Like there was something going on at least. Like there was something going on instead of just like the villain's gonna blow up the city and then he decided instead he's gonna use his willpower to fight against.
It only happens in 2.
Like I'm gonna use my willpower. And I'm gonna get my.
And the first one, like you don't even know what Harry Osborn's like when the Norman. I keep confusing Harry and Norman, but his motivation is just that he's crazy. He's just some crazy guy who wants to team up with Peter, I guess, to like do bad things or whatever. It's very like vague what he wants to do. I guess he just wants to do evil. That's pretty much all his motivation. And then he just kidnaps Mary Jane. And that's pretty much the entire stakes that go on in the movies. Yeah. Like Peter actually goes through a real internal conflict to where he actually becomes like a complete asshole in this one.
Yeah.
Which is like which is more than I can say for a lot of like modern superhero movies that are just
the MCU, for example, would be too afraid to take that risk.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think what's his name? Tom Holland will ever don the black stuff.
Yeah, they could certainly take a risk, but this wasn't in my notes, but I have to bring this up. The ending of this film is just like kind of a good thing. I guess it's better than I don't know, I like the ending better than the other films, but it's just like so solemn. Like it's so awkwardly solemn. Like the start of the film, like Peter's life is really happy. He's enjoying his life. He like gives some gay.
But nope, we gotta have another sequel.
Yeah, like at the end of but like the end of the beginning of the film, like he gives this gay little monologue, and it's like everything's going well. People recognize me in the streets. People like Spider-Man, and it's like it's really cheery. And then the end of the film, it's just like, all right, my friend just died, and then like he and Mary Jane do this really sad slow dance. Peter looks like he's about to cry, and then it ends.
And like, by the way, by gay he means the actual definition of gay, meaning happy.
It ends with Harry's funeral. Remember?
It ends with the funeral, but then it cuts to like he's in the jazz club that he smacked Mary Jane in, and they slow dance. Like she does a song too. Like she does a song about how other people interpreted this differently, but I interpreted this song as to say that like he and Mary Jane just did not get back together at the end of the song. Like just listen to the lyrics of that song. Like I think
it's supposed to be ironic. Like she says she's through with love, and then Peter shows up, and she's like, "Oh, never mind."
Maybe
that's what it was.
That's what I thought too.
The way I look at it, though, is just like his the beginning of the film, he's happy. He's about to propose to his girlfriend, and everything's going good for him. And then at the end of the film, his best friend died, and
I think you're just salty because that's what you want out of life, Steve.
Maybe.
Like, the ending is so fucking like disheartening and just awkward. Like what this movie. I mean, like again though, like I'm glad it took. I like the fact that it took risks.
I agree.
It's somewhat more darker, and like there's more. It feels like there's more at stake than like your villain's gonna blow up the city. You gotta stop him, Spider-Man. Like there's more going on. Go, Spidey, go! Like there's more there's more tension, I guess.
Like the mental state of our hero.
Yeah, and seeing like the shit with him and Harry, like it's really rushed and it's hokey at times. But I don't know. Harry's death had some impact to it and everything. If Harry died in Spider-Man 2, I wouldn't have given a shit. So
I agree.
Spider-Man 1.
I'll say this. This doesn't particularly have to do with the movie itself, but I just want to put this idea out there for people who might not have considered it. As I said earlier, the black suit has always been portrayed as like making Peter into some type of an edgelord. So if they did the black suit arc these days, I just want to say, that they would do something stupid, like they would make Peter into an internet troll.
Oh God, yeah, they would. They fucking would.
I just want to put that out there because that's true.
That's true. That's gonna sound painful. Oh God,
dude, and you know what? We should all just come to terms and accept that might happen. That has a strong chance of happening.
Well, the MCU is already like getting ruined with the whole Captain Marvel shit. So I don't want to fucking deal with like emo Peter basically being like an internet troll. Yeah. Oh my God, they're gonna make it.
No.
Oh no!
I say this without a hint of irony in what I'm saying. They'd never do this today.
I'd pay to see Spider-Man become an incel.
He smacks the shit out of Mary Jane. That scene is pretty fucked up. Like they wouldn't. That's certainly that they would.
They definitely wouldn't do that in the MCU.
No.
Yeah, because they get so much shit from like internet, like people who want to.
Dude, I would love to see MCU Peter hit that fucking bitch that they call MJ. That isn't really MJ. That'd be.
God, yeah, she deserves to get smacked.
Yeah, she deserves it.
Like she's such a like.
She's really annoying in that movie.
Yeah, like as much as Mary Jane is an asshole in this, well, I'm a bitch in this version. It would be the more correct term, but like. As bad as a character as Mary Jane in the other movies, at least she's not fucking like some annoying, snooty, like sort of like.
Here's the difference.
Some liberal feminist.
Yeah.
Monument was built by slaves.
Here's the difference, right? In these movies, I don't know if it was intentional. Maybe it was, but I doubt it since she's supposed to be the love interest for the main character. All of the faults in that character are probably unintentional or just faults with the character that they weren't willing to fix. It's not really an issue, I wouldn't say with the actress or anything, but they they intentionally make that character a bitch in the MCU.
Yeah, when I saw that movie and her nickname was MJ, I was like, God,
dude, the worst part is that's the ending credits. They try to like make it like that's the big impact.
What pissed me off about that is that like the girl that Peter had a crush on in that movie was actually cute, and she was actually like,
maybe we need to discuss Homecoming at some point.
Yeah, we should do that later. But
right.
That really disappointed me because that was really and then the trailers for the new movie, she's like, oh, you look so beautiful. Oh, so does that mean I have value, that I'm beautiful? And it's like, oh,
take the fucking compliment, you cunt.
Right. Yeah, she's probably gonna be one of the main factors that leads to the death of the MCU.
Yeah, she's gonna team up with Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, she's gonna team up with Captain Marvel and destroy Thanos.
Yeah, with feminism,
with no explanation to her powers,
except for
I haven't seen the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, but I just have a little nitpick with Spider-Man 3. This doesn't pertain to any of the faults of the movie. This is just something I noticed. Tobey Maguire got really cheap.
Oh yeah. I pointed this out to Stevo, and he didn't believe me at first, and then he started noticing it.
Like his neck, he has a double chin in this movie, and then like there's this whenever in the jazz club scene, whenever he takes off his coat, his like neck fat jiggles. And
I pointed that out, and then Luis, or it was just a friend of ours, said like, no, he looks normal, but like compared to the other movies, he's kind
of got H3 face.
Yeah, he does. His neck fat.
Here's another nitpick is like Tobey Maguire's cry. Like it looks like he's gonna.
I just want to make it clear though. I like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
I like him as Spider-Man, but whenever he cries, like it looks like he's about to burst out laughing. Like is the word? Like,
yeah, he always smiles when he cries. He's not intentionally smiling, but he always makes this like smiley face.
Like smirk.
Yeah, he always makes this like smirk when he's in pain or when he cries. It's really awkward.
Yeah.
It's awkward.
I saw it was in there's a scene in the first movie where he gets like the shit beat out of him and he's supposed to be in like serious pain, but he makes that fucking face where he basically looks like he's crying. I mean, like he's smiling, and it's like, okay.
The crier revealed.
Really awkward.
The crier revealed.
I blew off enough steam for the night. That's all I have to say about Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I have anything else to say, really.
Terrible, but again, like I enjoy. I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't. I mean, they're all. I would say this first one's the most enjoyable, but this one just as a film, like it has more weight to it than the other ones. Like it just does.
I think the second one is the best one.
I agree with Steve. I think the third one is the best one out of all of them in terms of like being well made as a movie. I mean, it's a bad movie, but
don't get me wrong. It's terrible. It's a terrible rushed mess. The script is a fucking mess. It's terrible, but you gotta look at them all. You have to decide which one is which one is the least which one is which one is the less of a piece of shit than the other one. Like which one?
I'll tell you what about these movies.
I'm trying to balance it out in my head, but it's just like nah. Yeah, I mean Spider-Man 3. It's
there's one thing that we appreciate about these movies that unfortunately people in the future won't really be able to appreciate it, whereas these movies are kind of a time capsule. They really are.
Yeah.
They're like how they're filmed and shot and everything. It really takes there's not really superhero movies that are like this. It really takes you back to the 2000s when things were different and everything didn't have to be a big cinematic unit.
Yeah, also they had an actual director attached to it, not just like, hey, let's get some random fuck to.
Yeah, let's get some
movies.
Independent film director and give him like $100 million and basically.
That's another thing though, right? Sam Raimi, a bold choice for a director, a risk that wouldn't have taken.
I think Sam Raimi, like I said this last time too. I think Sam Raimi's direction in these movies are fucking like really, really cheesy and dumb. Like he just watched the fucking the.
But you could tell he actually cared about like he wanted to make a comic book movie.
Yeah, I'm a comic book fan too. So like. He
said in like the reason why Venom was so rushed is because he didn't actually want Venom to be in the third movie. He wanted Sandman to be in it because he wanted all his Spider-Man movies to be basically a tribute to like the 70s Spider-Man comic books. And Venom wasn't really a character back then, so he didn't really want him in there.
It's in the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, so he wanted it to be a tribute to like the old 60s comic books, So yeah, he cared about he wanted to make something that it was in the vein of those old classic cheesy Spider-Man comic books, and he made them.
Yeah, dude.
And people today, they all complain about, like, oh, these movies are so cheesy. I guess, yes, they are, but so are comic books.
You know they're based
people
on,
really don't understand that comic books were just really fucking corny.
Even today, comics are corny. It's part of their nature.
Yeah, Marvel and DC comics are fucking trash.
Yeah, people don't really, like, today are kind of spoiled, I think. Well, I wouldn't say spoiled. I mean, well, because The Dark Knight came...
Entitled, you mean?
Yeah, entitled.
I agree. The Dark Knight changed superhero films for the worst because what it was trying to be was a realistic take on superhero films.
And now everything wanted to be a realistic take on superhero movies.
Yeah, which it's fine for Batman because he's like one of the very few heroes where that can kind of work out. It can't work for Spider-Man, and we all saw how that went when Sony tried to... They tried to make the Amazing Spider-Man series, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a complete tonal shift from dark to bright.
Because people complained about the movie being dark, and then the second movie, they basically tried to make it like the Sam Raimi movies, where it's like this really fucking cringy, like hokey, corny movie.
If we ever
it
want to
really
appreciate...
it was such a fucking breakneck change in tone.
If we ever want to appreciate these Sam Raimi movies, one day we'll talk about the Amazing Spider-Man. Not even trilogy. They only got 2 movies.
They planned a whole cinematic universe for it, though. They were like, we're going to have Sinister Six and Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Dude, Sony still wants that Sinister Six movie, I think. I think they still want that.
Sam Raimi was going to do a Spider-Man 4, and then they just canceled it.
That's why the Amazing Spider-Man happened.
No, what was weird around that is that people always referred to Amazing Spider-Man as Spider-Man 4 back when it was being released. So I assumed that it just generally meant that they were originally going to plan this to be just a continuation of the other movies.
It was
just the last minute. They were like, "Oh yeah, let's just make it a reboot," because they were hyping up. They're hyping up the Lizard
Connors
for a while.
Yeah, especially in 3.
He was in all the movies. He was in the second movie and the third.
The second one too, yeah.
Yeah, he was in all 3 movies.
Yeah,
it was pretty clear that they were hinting at
Peter's
that he was going to be the villain in it.
Yeah, that's why they introduced him in 2 as his professor.
But I think, and then they just put that idea in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, even though that's a poor villain, I would say, to start the series with. I mean, he's not a terrible villain necessarily, but does he really represent? What's he represent with Spider-Man? Like Doc Ock or fucking? I know they were done, but Doc Ock and Green Goblin are just so much more iconic Spider-Man villains. They could have even done something like a weirdo like Kraven or something. So
yeah, and then Amazing Spider-Man 2 basically had the same fucking villain problem, except it was even worse because it didn't even have a consistent narrative to it. Because
it didn't have a theme like forgiveness.
Yeah. Because the theme in Spider-Man 3 was like you got to forgive and not like let hatred and revenge consume you. And then in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's just Spider-Man finds out about Oscorp and everything has to do with Oscorp. It's all connected to Oscorp.
Yeah, and here's the thing,
and then
too.
It's like, how are we supposed to be invested when we know exactly what's going to happen? It's just like, oh, Oscorp does bad things. That's the entire.
The worst
point
thing about this movie is the worst thing about that movie is, and we're kind of getting off topic, so this will be one of the last things I say regarding that. But Peter is a perfectly fine character throughout the movie. Like, for the most part, he doesn't really do that. Compared to the first movie where he did a lot of fucking shit that was potentially immoral, he doesn't really do anything bad in that movie. And at the end, his love interest dies just because she died in the comics and no other reason. It's ridiculous. It was very poorly done, in my opinion. They focused so much on their relationship. So many people, the only thing that they liked about those movies was the dynamic between those 2 actors, and they killed off the only good thing about it.
All I have to say about those movies is just like Sam Raimi's movies. They're pretty bad, but they're certainly memorable. There's a lot of aspects in those movies that will stick with you after watching them.
Like Spider-Man's power set.
Literally all I remember. All I remember about Spider-Man 2, whenever he's going to save Gwen Stacy and he fails, the web makes a little hand, and
I pointed that out. And it was
watching that, and I didn't even finish the movie. I gave up after that. Like I was bored to fucking tears the entire movie, except for like a few moments that like made me giggle a bit. And then like I saw the fucking web hand, and I gave up. Like I was in disbelief. It was awful.
I feel like we're kind of running out of steam now that we're talking about the shitty Spider-Man movies. But
Homecoming is the best one.
No.
It's pretty good, but
It's okay.
You know what, Lance? When we'll talk about Homecoming at some point, and then you and I can have a discussion about which one we think is better. Because
oh yeah, next week we're gonna be taking a break from Spider-Man. We're gonna watch a movie that Stevo doesn't want to watch with us, which he's going to have to.
the Rudolph.
Space Jam
No.
or fucking
We're gonna watch fucking Space Jam.
Oh my god! Oh my! Hey, that's the one with the sexy bunny. Okay, I'm on.
Yeah, we're gonna watch fucking Space Jam.
Gross. Anyways, yeah.
Dude, I spread my jam on that fucking bunny. Oh.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. How long?
You brought it upon yourself, Stevo. You spammed Lola Bunny porn to Fancy earlier.
To wrap it up now, then. So yeah, this has been the Subnami post flight with your hosts, NowhereShepherd, AIDS, Dank, Animancer, and StevoAwesome.
And Hitler.
Later.